Hello everyone. In this video we will be learning what is a transformer and then what is the principle of working of a transformer and then how can we step up or step down the AC voltage with the help of a transformer. We will also learn in the same video what are the losses of energy that happen in a transformer and how can we overcome them. Losses and how can we overcome them. Right. So here in front of you on the board is what I have drawn, a schematic or a sketch for a transformer, where this black portion, this whole rectangular part, is showing an iron core. And this iron core is a soft iron core. The reason why we have taken a soft iron core, not the hard one, I will tell you when we will talk about the losses, fine? But here up till then you just understand this part, that we have taken a soft iron core and this is a huge bar. It is like this, a thicker rod shaped. So it is like this, then this and this. On one side of it we have wounded a coil and this is an inductor, you can say. Similarly we have another coil on the other part and this is also an inductor. So this one is known as a primary coil or the primary inductor. So we are giving it the name S1 and this one is the secondary one, the other one. So we are giving it the name secondary coil, and we are giving it a name S2. Now to the primary coil we have given an alternating voltage supply, that is V is equal to V naught sine omega t. This is the alternating voltage supply given over here, and across these two ends which have been shown here we are taking an AC output. So here also we will get an AC output. Now how much will it be? Will it be the same, more or lesser? That we will discuss later on. First of all, we want to understand what is the principle on which a transformer works. Now we have already learned about mutual induction when we started off with the 6th chapter. Here, because these are the two coils over here and one of them is linked with an AC source, so you can very well see that when there will be an AC voltage and the voltage increases across the two ends, so it will try to send more current through the coil. The coil, because the current is increasing, the coil will develop an induced EMF and will oppose the growth of the current. Because it will oppose the growth of the current, there will be a magnetic field produced in it, which will be depending upon the direction in which the current has been induced. Now for this moment, let us say that the current has been produced in this direction. Now because the current has been produced in such a direction that the magnetic field line is like this, and magnetic field lines always form closed loops. So let us say that these magnetic field lines, they are crossing the iron core and they are getting linked with the secondary coil also, right? Actually it will be like this. So if I draw it here, maybe you can see, actually the field lines will be like this. And because it is an iron core, they will try to be there inside the core. Because it's a ferromagnetic material, it will not let the magnetic field line go outside. So they will be contained inside. So because they have to form a loop, the magnetic field lines will be like this. Now the magnetic field, if the current will increase, the magnetic field lines will also increase over here. So the magnetic flux which is here, which is linked with the magnetic flux over here, because the iron core is making the flux over here to get linked with the secondary coil over here. So all the flux lines will get linked with the secondary coil and we will get some output over here. So basically it is the mutual induction which is giving us some output over here between the two coils. So the principle of working of a transformer is mutual induction between the two coils. Mutual induction between the two coils. So the change in EMF in one is giving us a current in the other, which is giving us some AC output. So mutual induction from 1 to 2 is the principle of working of a transformer. I've already told you that when the voltage will increase, the current in the primary coil will be produced in such a direction to oppose that cause by Lenz's law, and because of that direction of current, the magnetic field will be produced. Since the current is varying, magnetic flux will also vary. All the flux lines will be linked with the secondary coil because of the iron core, and this is in this direction. The magnetic field lines here are in this direction. Now there the flux is increasing. If the flux will increase in this direction, then this coil will generate an EMF in an opposite direction, and we will get the output. So varying input is giving us a varying output, and therefore if we have a sinusoidal voltage over here, we get a sinusoidal output also. So varying in current, varying voltage is giving us a varying output also. Now the second thing I told you was that we can either have a step up or a step down transformer. We can step up this voltage, we can step it down also. Now how can we do that is, I'm just erasing this and I'll let you know how can we do that. So we can write down what is a step up or a step down transformer, how will it work. Now we know that all the flux that will be linked, magnetic flux that will be linked with the primary coil will depend upon how many number of turns are there in the primary coil. So more are the number of turns, more will be the flux lines linked with it. Similarly, phi s will be directly proportional to ns, number of turns in the secondary, and this is the flux linked with the secondary. So more are the number of turns there, more will be the flux. Then we also know that the EMF developed across the primary because of the self-induction property will be equal to minus NP d phi by dt. So that is the EMF developed across the primary will be equal to this relationship we have already studied earlier. This is the rate of change of flux into this. Similarly here also it will be EMF developed across the secondary will be minus ns d phi by dt. Now because all the flux changes in the primary are linked with that in the secondary, therefore we are not writing down primary and secondary here, because d phi p is equal to d phi s. All the flux changes in the primary are linked with the secondary through the iron core. So this is the same as this. Hence I am just removing the subscripts. I just wanted you to understand why I have not written the subscripts P and S over here. Now this is equation 1, this is equation 2, and 1 divided by 2 will give us EP by ES, that is EMF across the primary divided by EMF across the secondary, and so negative sign will cancel out. We will have NP over NS. So this is what it is, and NS upon NP, the reverse of this, is known as the transformation ratio. Transformation ratio. Okay, fine. So one is this, and so you can see that if EP is EP, we want ES to be lesser than EP. Let us see. If we want ES to be lesser than EP, so because EP by ES has to be equal to NP by NS, we should have NS lesser than NP, so that the ratio becomes same. It means that in order to step down, because this is the output voltage, so in order to step down the voltage, if you had suppose a higher peak value over here, greater value for the primary, you want a lesser value over here, then what you have to do is you have to decrease the number of turns in the secondary, right? So this is how we say that we can increase the voltage or we can decrease the AC voltage just by using the appropriate number of turns in the primary and secondary. You can see if we want the ratio to be half, then if primary turns are, let us say, 1000, and if I take secondary turns to be 500, then the output voltage will be half of what I have in the input voltage. And similarly, the reverse of this can also be done by increasing the number of turns. So this is a step up and a step down transformer. It is very simple. And there is another thing. If we say that in the transformer there are no power losses, so then if there is no power loss, then it means that the input power will be equal to the output power. So I am deducing another expression for transformer over here. In no power loss, so you can write down when there are no power losses, right? When there is no power loss, then input power should be equal to the output power. Now power we know is, suppose EP is the input voltage, so this multiplied by IP, which is the current flowing through the primary, this is the input power, should be equal to voltage across the secondary into current across the secondary. So this has to be equal to this if there is no power loss. Then we can write down ES upon EP will be equal to IP upon IS. And we just now derived this was also equal to this, right? So this is the equation that we use for the transformer, that it can be stepped up or down by using the correct number of turns, and also that the current and voltage are inversely related to each other. So if what will happen is that suppose you increase the secondary voltage, so it will be done at the cost of decreasing the current. This is what we mean by this statement, that ES is inversely related to IS. So if you will increase ES, IS will decrease. If you will decrease the output voltage, current in the output or the secondary coil will automatically increase. So this is a very useful thing, and in the class we will learn about how do we use and which appropriate cables do we use as the overhead cables for transmission of power from the power stations to a substation and then to your localities, and how do we use the step up and the step down transformers at different stages, and how does this value of current matter to us a lot over there. We will all understand that, and we will do some numericals over that also, depending upon that also. But as for now, this is what it is. So you have ES upon EP as IP upon IS is equal to this much. It can step up or step down the voltage, and if you are stepping up the voltage, it is done at the cost of decreasing the current. If you are stepping down the voltage, then the value of current will increase. So this is what is the principle and how does a transformer work. The other thing that I told you in the beginning of the video, that we will be learning about what are the different losses that can happen in a transformer. So I'm just erasing it, and you will understand each and every loss one by one. So the first loss that happens in a transformer is the hysteresis loss. We have already done a video in which I told you about hysteresis. You know that when there is an AC input, the iron core will get magnetized and demagnetized twice in one cycle of the AC. Because of magnetization and demagnetization of the iron core, the core will get heated up, right? Because again and again the alignment of the domains will change, and because the domains are changing their alignment, heat will be produced in the process. So one is the hysteresis loss in the form of heat due to magnetization and demagnetization of the iron core. And first is this. Then the other loss, because whenever heat is produced, the input power can never be equal to the output power. It means some of the power has been lost in the form of heat. Then the other are the humming losses. Now what is humming loss? That when a high voltage AC is applied to the primary coil, there are a large number of windings over there. If you are able to see, if you are able to manage to see a transformer, there are large number of windings on the transformer, and a high voltage is being given to the primary coil. So because it's an AC, vibrations are produced in the coil, and the vibrations of the atoms in the coil, they produce a humming sound, because vibrations always produce sound, and this sound you can hear. So if you pass by a transformer in your locality, you will hear a sound like from there. So these are known as the humming losses. And whenever energy is, you are able to hear a voice or hear a sound, then this is a loss, because some of the energy is being wasted into that. So the other loss is humming loss. We cannot do anything about this, but we can certainly do something about the hysteresis, and I will let you know what. So because hysteresis is due to the magnetization and demagnetization of the sample, what we can do is, we have already learned the curve for hysteresis. We have done hysteresis laws are very small if the curve is thin, small retentivity and coercivity, and this curve has a very small area for the soft iron. Okay, and therefore initially I told you that for making a transformer we use a soft iron core, because we want to reduce the hysteresis loss. But obviously we cannot make it zero, but we have tried to minimize it by using a soft iron core. Then the third loss is the flux leakage. Flux leakage. Although we have said that all the flux which is linked with the primary gets linked with the secondary, all the flux changes in the primary get linked with the secondary, but the flux leakage is still there. Now we can change the orientation of the coils in order to have 100% flux linkage. What we can do is that if this is the core, let us say, we can divide it like this, wind one of the wire like this for the input, and the other above it for the output, so that all the flux changes that are happening in the primary, they get linked with the secondary. So this is what we can do for avoiding the flux leakage. Then fourth important loss is that of the eddy currents. Now because of the copper coil over here and the changes in the magnetic flux that are happening here, so eddy currents are produced in the core here, and these eddy currents, they are so high in amount that they heat up the core to a very large extent, and sometimes the core gets so much heated up that even the coil that you have wounded over it melts and gets sticked to it, and the transformer doesn't work then. Or you hear a huge blast when it happens, that the two coils, they get attracted to one another because they have melted. So eddy currents, they produce a lot of heat over here. Now we have already done how to reduce the eddy current. If you reduce the surface area of the iron core, the eddy currents will reduce. You have done that if this is a plate, and if you make a plate like this, we have done this earlier. Earlier this was the amount of eddy currents that was produced in it. Now eddy currents will be produced in these small portions, right? So we can reduce the eddy currents by making slits in this. In a similar way, what we can do is, instead of taking a thick iron bar for making an iron core, we can take laminated cores, and which are in the form of plates. So we will have one rectangular plate, then we will have another rectangular plate. Both will have some amount of adhesive between them, which will be like this. One is this one, let us say the other one is like this, just behind it, and both of these will have some sort of insulating material between them, right? So this one is not connected with this. Now because of this, because these are just slits one after the other, so the eddy currents will not find any particular area in which they can flow, because this is a very thin, if you make it a lamina, like a page, like a paper of the sheet in the notebook. So it is kind of a notebook. It becomes a notebook like this. So between two laminated sheets, we will put a mica or some dielectric, anything of the sort which is an insulator. So one is not connected with the other. So eddy currents will not be produced, will not be able to be produced here. Hence, heat will not be produced. So this is how you can also reduce by using a laminated core to reduce the eddy currents. And this is what it is. These were the losses in the transformer, and I've already told you how can these losses be overcome. And there is one more loss that is known as the copper loss. Fifth loss, that is the last one. One more loss that is known as the copper loss. Because it is a copper winding, it will have some resistance. Some of the power will be wasted in the form of heat using the formula I square R. But using a particular, width of or the diameter of the copper wire, we can reduce the R value considerably, because R is rho L by A. So if you make A larger, then R, reduces considerably and copper losses can be managed. But still, because we have used a conductor over here, a copper wire over here, we will have some copper losses which will be which we can minimize, but we cannot make them zero. So these were the losses that happen in the transformer, and I've told you how a transformer works. Thank you.